Alright, so today wasn't very eventful, but we had a nice little drive and we stopped off at Bear Lake. Absolutely gorgeous view of the bright blue water that the lake shows. Alright, what's up, everyone? I'm going to apologize for my face being kind of like darkened out. I had to fix the resolution because I wanted to show the sunset that we're watching right now at the Grand Teton Mountains. So we got settled into our new lodge about hour and a half ago. So we had dinner. Me and my dad just actually finished. I ran outside to go watch the ending part of the sunset. So I actually had a 12-ounce uh, ribeye. So it was absolutely amazing. It was really good. Unfortunately, it was really expensive. Altogether, it was just an expensive restaurant. But with this, it's called the Jackson Lake Lodge. It's in Jackson, Wyoming. So I am in a new state. It's kind of very secluded from everything. So there's like 3 food places to go to, and we weren't really trying to have like the fast food options. So we went to this place. So it was a little expensive, but the food definitely was very good. So I guess you could say it was worth it. But um, absolutely awesome. Again, just another viewpoint in the backdrop of our hotel. Lodge. So we're here unfortunately only for tonight, and then tomorrow we have an early excursion where we're gonna go like float tubing through the river that goes through these mountains. Um, what's the name of that river? I don't remember. He did say it a bunch of times, but you can just take my word for it. So I'll try to show some videos from that, but otherwise I'm just gonna enjoy the view for a little bit and then see where things go from there. Alright, so I apologize switching to this view. I was actually getting attacked by mosquitoes during that clip. So I decided to watch the sunset and show you guys it from this angle, which is still just as beautiful. But so glad I get to check off another spot where I watched the sunset. Grand Teton Mountains are just so beautiful. Unfortunately, just the lighting and the fact that you get your camera into the sun, it affects the image a little bit. But it was just so beautiful watching it set with these mountains in the backdrop. Um, this one was definitely a lot better than the Grand Canyon sunset that we watched. But just every single one is just so beautiful. But here's a view of what it actually looks like now, waking up the next morning. So I finished breakfast and then went straight outside with my mom to take a look at what the mountains look like. Game plan for today, which is what you're looking at right now. We're going to take this little boat with basically everyone in our group, and then we're going to go float tube through the Snake River. So that was the name that I found out. So it's pretty cool. It was about a 10-mile float tube. It took about an hour and a half. Got some even better views of the Grand Teton Mountains on this river. And unfortunately, we didn't really get to see much wildlife that our instructor said it was possible. We did see 2 bald eagles, but they flew pretty high, so you didn't really get to see anything more than just the little white spots that they have, so we can know that they're bald eagles, but they weren't that close. Otherwise, he told us that we could see moose, some other types of birds, bears, deer, elk, some beavers. We didn't really see any of those, unfortunately. It would have been pretty cool, but it was pretty quiet otherwise. But that just added to the different environment that this excursion had. It was nice and relaxing, calm. It was literally dead silent. So all you heard was either us laughing or just the smooth cruising of the water and some rapids, but it wasn't really much. This is more of a relaxing boat ride rather than a whitewater rafting, which unfortunately I actually wanted to do. But that's fine. Not everything, has to be all crazy and stuff like that. But next spot that we went to was the Continental Divide. So basically what that means is this is the spot on the United States that basically determines where the water goes. So if water's flowing a certain way, it's going to go towards the Pacific Ocean, and if it's not flowing that way, it's going the other way, which is the Atlantic Ocean. So that was a pretty interesting fact. But this is definitely one of the most hyped up parts of the trip, going to Yellowstone. So we got to see all the different types of thermal pools, geysers, hot spots.
You wanted the short ribs?
Yep, thank you.
After seeing that briefly, we went straight to the food. Our first meal at the Yellowstone Lodge,
2 ribs.
the Snow Lodge portion of it. We got over
What do you think?
first night's dinner included, and we literally asked them what's included, and they said appetizer, main course, dessert, and then a salad or soup if you want. Unfortunately, I didn't want that. I was trying to stay a little bit healthy, but I finally got my bison. I was super happy. I got these bison ribs. I asked them, it was about 6 ounces. of bison meat after, getting rid of the estimated amount of bones that they had. So it was over asparagus, which I actually ate my dad's. So I wanted to get some more greens in, and some mashed white potatoes. So the appetizer that you saw before this was lamb sliders. So I had 3 of them. I only ate 2. I shared some with my parents because they got different appetizers. But this meal definitely filled us up, and probably one of the best meals we've had, quantity and quality wise, of the food. So I was super happy about that. But after we finished that meal, we actually went to go watch Old Faithful. So it was a little, I don't know how I feel about it. I thought it was super cool to watch, don't get me wrong, but it was just, there's so many people, and there was like a preset area. Everyone was like counting down the time until it was supposed to go off, because scientists calculated that it goes off every hour and a half, give or take 10 minutes before and after. So don't get me wrong, it was still really cool to see this and how something like this happens. But it definitely was more Disney World typed event than I expected. I thought it was going to be a lot more cooler. It's just a lot of people waiting with their cameras for the time to go off. The people next to me were saying, "Oh, it's about to go off in like 5 minutes. Like, everyone get your cameras ready." And I don't know. I just didn't like that part of it, but it was still an absolutely cool thing. It's just so cool how like the water just flows out of the air, and it makes a cool little fountain. You'll see a little bit later in the videos, which I'll talk about, but there were other ones to the left of this, where we took a hike the next morning. I thought those were just as cool, and there was no lines, there was nobody there, and I seemed to be in the right place at the right time very often, and we had a couple of them go off. So I couldn't complain at all. So see, this is where one of the main spots was. Alright, what's up, everyone? So it is Monday, July 24th. It's a little windy, so apologize if you can't really hear me that well, but we are spending the whole day at Yellowstone National Park. So we're just looking at different geysers and different hot springs that we see. So after this clip is done, you guys are going to see the footage that I have from today. But last night we were at Yellowstone. We got all settled in. We had dinner. I finally got my bison I wanted, so I was super happy about that. I'll show you guys, pop it up right now, what the meal looked like. So it was absolutely delicious, everything I expected. But then later in the night, we actually watched the sunset to the left of us, and then we watched Old Faithful erupt to the right. So that was even cooler. I told my parents I wanted to do that, so here's the part of the day where we took a little guided tour with a ranger. This is one of the coolest spots that we saw, since if you're looking at it right now, you kind of see like a little flow of the boiling hot water going into the river basin, and how it's just steaming out. It's really cool how that just happens, that the boiling hot water ends up going into a lower temperature river. So I thought that was pretty amazing. Here is one of the most famous spots to see. It's just a giant, big, bright blue hot pool that basically it's just so clear. It looks like you really just want to swim in it. And one of the facts that the ranger told us is how don't be surprised if you see some animal markings, because while the animals think it's so beautiful and pretty and they want to go in there and wash themselves off, and they're not as smart as we are, and they don't realize that it's boiling hot water. So that's when they told us to be like, don't be surprised if you saw some like foot marks and stuff. But it's just every single little spot was just so beautiful, so cool to see how far down it went, just the different colors. And then here's where one of the geysers that we saw, erupt, and it was just random. It wasn't like, wasn't calculated a certain time where it goes off. Like, there's nothing special about it. It just went off at random times when that boiling point gets too high for the water and it starts exploding out of the ground. So hope you guys enjoyed some of the clips. Like, here's like a mud pool. They call it a painter spot because it actually is clay. So when it boils, it kind of looks like a liquid form of clay that painters use to mold. But this was actually during the morning. Apologize for it to be out of order, but this was our morning hike. It's about like a 1 mile hike around. But every spot to the left or right of us, it was big signs saying "Do not touch," possible active thermal zone. So it was just left or right. We saw a new thermal pool or smoke coming out of the ground in a bright blue pool. It was just so cool because it's just like you want to swim in it because it looks so nice and pretty and clear. But you just know it's absolutely boiling hot water, and you'd probably burn yourself. But if you guys enjoy the view, and I'll check back in with the next set of clips. Alright, so we're at the lower banks of the Yellowstone Falls. Taking a hike down to the lower bank of it. I was just at the upper view where my parents stopped, so I'm going to go down and explore, which I've been doing. But let's see what this view looks like from here. Alright, so not that great of a view from that spot, so we're going to go further down, and should be down there in a little bit, so I'll show you guys the view from there. Alright, what's up everyone? So, just finished dinner at my parents, got back to the room, got all settled in and everything, was doing some editing, and now I'm actually going to get a workout in at the Yellowstone Lodge. So unfortunately there is no fitness center, and that led to me not being able to work out yesterday, but I worked out pretty heavily the days I did have gyms, so I made sure to get a nice proper rest day. It was actually the way I worked out in the morning, and then I didn't work out the rest of the day, and then a full day, so I got a nice 36 hours of rest, which is absolutely awesome. I thought my body needed it. So now today, I'm going to take advantage, excuse me, a little bit more of my resist bands that I brought. So the resist bands that you guys will see in the clips I will show you of this is basically it's a 3-type resistance band. So you got a blue, a green, and a red. So all different types of resistance. So I'm going to show you guys just basically how to stay active on vacation basically, and whether or not you have a fitness center. The resistance bands are super cheap to buy. I haven't used them in a while. I basically started my fitness journey with them, so it's kind of cool that I get to bring them back a little bit. And so I'll show you guys basically the little workout I can do just to keep my body active and keep me moving until the next time I can find a fitness center, which might not happen for the rest of the trip, but I'll try to keep myself optimistic. And if not, we'll keep using the resistance bands, so we'll see from there. But I'm gonna go get ready. I'm gonna change. I'm gonna get my pre-workout ready, and start warming up a little bit with resistant bends. So I hope you guys enjoy the footage, and it's just another kind of cool thing to show you of basically how I'm trying to stay healthy. And so here's the workout that I was able to get in my lodge room. Coincidentally, my dad was sleeping during this, and then my mom was walking in and out of the room. So this is the shoulder workout I was able to get with the bands. Again, the routine that is popping up with each exercise is basically 4 sets. Fourth set was drop set. Most of the time I did, after playing around, I did 2 bands at one time. So the drop set would be usually the lower code band, which was most of the time the red band, and that'd be the drop set that I did. I'd like to say that I did 4 sets, but I did a little bit more due to the fact that I haven't used the bands in a while. So me getting used to the colored bands again and figuring out which ones I was able to do, added an extra bunch of reps or sets. So otherwise, I mean, I got a pretty decent workout. I got the muscle activated, but it's something I definitely wouldn't do on a normal basis. And then, of course, the one thing that wasn't videoed was my standing shoulder press that I did in addition to the seated.